now that we already know how to rewrite raw scores to C-scores, and then we also know how to get the areas under the normal curve, we can now proceed with the applications of the normal curve. And when we say applications, we will now solve for word problems under normal distribution. So, let me give you an example on how are we going to solve word problems under normal curve. So, let's say ito yung given na problem. The average pag-ibig salary loan for RFS Pharmacy Incorporated employees is 23,000. If the debt is normally distributed with a standard deviation of 2,500, find the probability that the employee owes less than 18,500. So, as you can see in the given problem, the values given or the numerical values or the numbers given is a raw score and not a C-score. So, meaning to say, we have to rewrite those raw scores into C-scores. So, we will use the formula for the C-score na raw score minus the mean all over the standard deviation. So, in this given problem, our raw score is 18,500. Since we will look for the probability na less than yung debt nila by 18,500. So, meaning to say, this is your parang reference point and then this will be your raw score minus 23,000 which is our mean. Ma'am, bakit po yung 23,000 is yung mean? Why is it that 23,000 is our mean? It is stated in the first sentence that the average pag-ibig salary loan for RFS employees is 23,000. So, meaning to say, 23,000 is the average and 23,000 is our mean. All over, it's already stated na the standard deviation is 2,500. Next, solving for this one. If your calculator is a 4-liner calculator, then you will just write it as it is. Fraction, tapos 18,500 minus 23,000 all over 2,500. Equal sign. The answer is negative 1.8 or negative 1.80. Or if your calculator is a 2-liner calculator, this will be the display in your calculator. Open parenthesis, 18,500 minus 23,000 all over, close parenthesis, fraction all over 2,500 equal to negative 9.9 over 5 or negative 1.8. Next, after getting the equivalent C-score, we will now proceed with drawing the figure or drawing the normal distribution or normal curve for this given problem. So, first, we have to draw the normal curve na bell-shaped and asymptotic to the x-axis. And then, you have to plot the mean, which is in the middle. And then, in our given problem, going back, our mean is, or the mu is equivalent to 23,000. So, meaning to say, in raw scores, the equivalent of your 0 is 23,000. Ma'am, bakit po? Kasi, yung 0 for the C-score is your mean. So, meaning to say, dahil 23,000 yung mean natin, then, our 23,000 is the raw score equivalent to the C-score na 0. Okay po. Next, we plot negative 1.80. Since that is a negative number, then it should be on the left side of the normal distribution or yung normal curve. So, let's say this is negative 1.8 or negative 1.80. And the raw score equivalent to negative 1.8 is 18,500. Bakit po? Kasi yun yung sinolve natin kanina, di ba? We get the equivalent ito po, we get the equivalent C-score if our raw score is 18,500. And what we got is negative 1.80 or negative 1.8. That's why the C-score equivalent for the raw score 18,500 is negative 1.8. Ngayon, if you'll ask me, ma'am, do we have to write the raw score and the C-score po? You may po, or you may only write yung Z-score o kaya naman ay raw score. It depends. Kayo po, kung saan kayo mas madadalian. If you want to use the two, then you may. If you want to use the C-scores only, then you may also. Next is, we have to get the shaded region. Ngayon, going back to the problem, it states that we have to find the probability that the employee owes less than 18,500. Or, in symbol, this is the probability of Z daw that is less than 18,500. Or using the C-score na 1.8, negative 1.8, this is equivalent to the probability of Z less than negative 1.8. So we have to get the shaded region equivalent to that, to this given probability. So, asan ba yung shaded region na negative or less than negative 1.8? So, is it A, B, or C? Asan dyan yung less than negative 1.8? If you will tell me, ma'am, yung region A po, then you are correct. So, ito po yung less than negative 1.8 or less than 18,500. So, after getting the shaded region, we will now get your table, tapos we have to identify the region from 0 up to negative 1.8. So, in your table, what will you look at is, yung dun sa first column is 1.8, we will disregard the negative sign. Yung 1.8, yung dun sa column, tapos yung dun sa first row is yung 0.00, na dito 1.8, tapos yung nandito is 0. Or yung 0.00. Tapos you get the intersection of these two, then that will be the region, region from 0 to negative 1.8. Ngayon, ma'am, bakit 0.0? Kasi nga po, yung hundreds place nyo is 0. Tapos yung whole number natin is 1 and the tens place is 8. That's why we have to look for 1.8 here and then yung doon sa column, tapos yung sa row naman is 0. So, from 0 to negative 1.8 or negative 1.80, the area is 0.4641. 0.4641. Next. From this given normal curve, how are you going to get or how are you going to solve for the shaded region, knowing that the distance between 0 to negative 1.80 is 0.4641, or the area from 0 to negative 1.80 is 0.4641. So again, yung half ng normal curve natin, if you will notice, na included yung half ng normal curve natin, and that is equivalent to 0.5, diba po? So, what we're going to do is, we subtract 0.5 and 0.4641 para makuha natin yung shaded na region. So, 0.5 minus 0.4641. And the answer is 0.5 minus 0.4641. The answer po is 0.0359. Or, this is 3.59%. So, in conclusion, the probability that the employee owes less than 18,500 is 3.59% or 0.0359. Ngayon, ma'am, if you will ask me, ma'am, bakit hindi sa 1 sinubtract yung 0.44641? Kasi po, if you will subtract 1 and 0.4641, you have to take note that yung 1 represents the entire normal distribution. Should we include this part pa ba? Is this concerning the shaded region? Hindi naman na po, 'di ba? So, no need to include that one. You disregard this half side of the normal curve. Dito lang tayo mag-deal with the half side nung curve para mas madaling makapag-solve. Kasi if you will include this one and you want to subtract it by 1, you have to add 0.5, this whole part, na 0.5 to 4641 before you subtract it with 1. Diba? Mas mahirap. So, dito na lang. I-disregard nyo na to since we don't have any shaded region for this one. Then you deal with this half part.